British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said he would lift defense spending to 2.5% of the country's annual GDP by 2030, saying the British arms industry must be on a war footing when the world is at its most dangerous since the Cold War. Standing alongside NATO leader Jens Stoltenberg, Sunak said the United Kingdom would spend an additional £75 billion, $93 billion, over 6 years to increase the production of munitions and drones, making the UK the second-largest defense spender in NATO. He said one of the central lessons of war in Ukraine was that countries needed deeper stockpiles of munitions and the ability to replenish them more quickly. In a world that is the most dangerous it has been since the end of the Cold War, we cannot be complacent, he said. As our adversaries align, we must do more to defend our country, our interests, and our values. His remarks came on the heels of a new pledge to send arms worth £500 million, $622 million, to Ukraine, including missiles, armored vehicles, and ammunition. Sunak has been under pressure from his governing Conservative Party to boost defense spending more quickly after previously saying he could do so only as soon as economic conditions allow. The rise, from about 2.32% of gross domestic product, GDP, could also weaken potential leadership challengers who have championed defense before an election this year which Sunak's party is expected to lose. The commitment would take defense spending for 2028-29 from approximately £73.8 billion to £78.2 billion, partly funded by a previously announced plan to cut the size of the civil service. The opposition Labour Party said earlier this month it would aim to hit the 2.5% target as soon as resources allow. Sunak's commitment could help the UK if Donald Trump wins re-election to the US presidency this year. Trump has frequently taken aim at the failure of many of NATO's 32 members to spend at least 2% of GDP on defense. He made the announcement on one of his first international trips for months, where he met Stoltenberg and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. He will meet German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Wednesday. Huge backing for Ukraine. The UK has been one of the most vocal and active backers of Ukraine, and the news followed Sunak's pledge to increase military support for Ukraine by £500 million to take its total for this financial year to £2 billion. He also said the UK's financial support would continue at least at its current level for the rest of the decade, or as long as needed. That was welcomed by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, including in a call with Sunak earlier on Tuesday. The Ukrainian leader has repeatedly called for more air defense systems to protect Ukraine from Russian bombardments, and Germany has spearheaded calls for members of the NATO military alliance and beyond to step up on deliveries. The UK's announcement came 3 days after the US House of Representatives approved $61 billion in aid for Ukraine, as American lawmakers race to deliver a new round of US support to the war-torn ally. The Senate was expected to vote on the package later this week. Ammunition shortages over the past 6 months have led Ukrainian military commanders to ration shells, a disadvantage that Russia has seized on this year, taking the city of Avdiivka and currently inching towards the town of Chasiv Yar, also in the eastern Donetsk region.